What's up, and welcome to 10-Minute Fringe. There is a siren right as I'm starting. We love to see it. I am here with Eliott Simpson of Asexy, and I Know It, of Dr. Bonks, Marcarbaret. And what's the third show you just added?
It's called Crypt the Light's Fantastic.
It's like an incredible shows. How you doing today, Eliott?
I'm here. I'm queer. I'm severely lacking beer, but I'll survive. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I have tea.
Oh, that's probably a more suitable choice for 10:40 in the morning.
Yeah, fair enough. So tell me about let's go through these one at a time. Tell me about Dr. Bonks Marcarbaret.
Rightio. Well, basically for many years I've been basically known as like one of the UK's only like kind of well-known asexual comedians. I do mostly comedy about asexuality. But then I have an alter ego character called Dr. Bonk, which sort of happened by accident. He saw the antithesis of my asexual persona. Well, not persona, I am asexual, but it's very much the antithesis because his name is literally Dr. Bonk. But he started by accident because I did a Halloween gig years ago and I was told, oh, everyone's going to do their set in costume. And my only costume was a plague doctor. And I can't really do my usual asexual material as a plague doctor. That's going to be a bit weird. So I kind of invented a character there and then like, oh, what was like a medieval plague doctor who had 400 years of student loans to pay off and he was really angry about it. And it happened by accident, and I really enjoyed doing it. And so over the years, I've just sort of like experimenting, being this kind of mute, silent plague doctor, and experimenting with different kind of formats. And now it's at the point where he's now got a thing called the Marcarbaret, which is a horror cabaret, where in order to pay off his student loans, he's basically kidnapped a bunch of different, very spooky artists, such as drag queens and burlesque dancers and comedians and poets and magicians, and he's kidnapped them all to perform for you at the Fringe for 5 nights in hopes of raising some money so he can finally pass his medical exams.
It's a beautiful world that you've created here. So when does that start? What are the dates on that?
That will begin on August the 22nd, and it goes on until August 26th, and that's going to be at 10:45 at night at the Dragonfly. So very ooky spooky, very, very, very fun, spooky way to finish your Fringe day.
If you're not from Edinburgh, it's a good way to get into the Edinburgh spirit, ghosts, spookiness, plague doctors. I mean, it feels like the perfect thing to do. And you are also doing Asexy, and I Know It. Which have you done that show before here?
I have. Technically, it's the third time I brought it to the Fringe. I brought it to the Fringe in 2019. It's like a half-hour show when I was still just kind of testing it out. Last year was a full Fringe debut, 26 days in a row. It was really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. This year, I'm doing it this one day really because just mostly because I want to get it filmed, and also because I was told, oh, do you want to do 6 days of Dr. Bonks Marcarbaret? I said, no, because if you do 1 day above 5 days, you have to pay the full Fringe registration. And he's like, well, we can only give you 6 days. It's like, okay, I'll do 5 days of that show and 1 day of my other show. So I get a slightly cheaper registration fee and I can cheat the system. So it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but to be a bit cheaper, but also because I generally do love performing it and I would like to get it filmed this year.
What do you want people to get out of that show out of Asexy and I Know It when you perform it?
Mostly just to know that asexuality exists. It is a completely valid, normal orientation. It is a valid part of the LGBT community. That asexual people exist, and maybe you don't just presume all the horrible misconceptions about it. It's okay to be asexual. It's okay to be different. It's okay to not want the same things everyone else wants. It's just fine and normal. And hopefully that by giving them some laughs and giving them some memorable quips and one-liners, it'll help them remember that better and just think twice before they start being mean to someone else or try to force someone else into something they don't want to do. And hopefully we will heal the world collectively and prove maybe asexual people deserve to be a more accepted member of the queer community than the fucking Babadook is. What really annoys me. The Babadook is more accepted than asexual people are. I don't understand. Why are you picking child murderers above us? I don't understand.
Well, I mean, I hope that you heal the entire world with your show. I feel like that's a good goal. So good work. And when is that show?
So that's one night only. It's going to be one night only. That is on the 27th of August. Once again, at 10:45 p.m. in the Dragonfly. So it's very. I think it might be like the last show of like the Laughing Horse Free Fringe. I think, but yes, 27th, one night only. Please come along.
Why would
don't bring your phone?
And Crypt the Light, fantastic. Tell me about this show.
Right, so that show began at the Glasgow Comedy Festival this year with 2 other disabled comics, Yvonne Hughes and Mark Cooper, because Sadly, I mean, I think it's quite common across all of comedy, especially in Scotland. I don't know how it is in other countries, but in Scotland, it's so hard to find any comedy venue that's wheelchair accessible or accessible in any case. And so I thought we've kind of thought I was in charge of one venue, and I asked my friend Mark, who has cerebral palsy, if he'd be interested in doing a show there, and he asked me if I wanted to help him like do a free-hander. So it was a very nice, wholesome comedy show about disability. We had a lot of people come because for a lot of people, it was the only show they could actually attend. We liked it so much that we decided we'll do it. We'll do it again. We'll do it one day at the Fringe at one of the only wheelchair accessible venues in Edinburgh. There aren't many of them, but it's in Leith, and it's a free show. So it'd be a nice, wholesome way to give that allows us to platform disabled comics, but allow people with disabilities to actually attend a show and not to worry about getting up some horrible stairs to be sensory overloaded.
It is. I have it. It is the same in the U.S. Although I think it's more common for places to be accessible. But yeah, here it's just impossible. Like nothing is. It's
I love Edinburgh, but it was built by ableists. They saw a big hill and thought, let's pop a city there. Are we going to build some ramps and stairs? Nah. There's horrible, cobbly, awkward, wonky stairs imaginable and place it everywhere and never change our buildings for 500 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that show sounds amazing. Did you say when it was? It's
no, so that's going to be on the 21st of August. And I believe I do have the time. It's going to be at 7:30 on the 21st of August at the Leaf Depot. So basically, yeah, my whole Fringe venture is from the 21st to the 27th. 3 shows across one lovely, wholesome week.
That's wonderful. So are you Edinburgh local? No.
I'm a Glasgow local. I'm sure the accent gave it away, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. I haven't quite figured out all of the accents, but I think you're kidding.
I do live in Glasgow, but I'm not from there originally. I'm not really from anywhere. I actually did grow up in America. Actually, I was a New Jersey kid, and then
that's where the accent is from.
And then I had a very thick New Jersey accent, and I came back to England, and the British kids they kicked the shit out of me until I spoke proper. So this voice is a product of the British bullying system.
Yeah, that's where my voice comes from too. I used to be from the South, but then I moved to Boston, which is notoriously friendly to outsiders. We have a couple more minutes. I want to ask you, how did you get into comedy, Eliott?
Oh, I guess I've always loved comedy. I always I guess because I was always a strange, weird, autistic outcast of a child with not many friends. Comedy was my kind of solace and my comfort. And if I could be silly, make people laugh, that was like my social currency. Like I can make you laugh in exchange. You will not beat me up, and you will somewhat accept my existence. So I've always had a deep love for comedy. I've always wanted to try it myself. And literally, I used to start off filming comedy gigs around my local town. And I started filming a local night until eventually the guy was like, "You're here all the time. Why do you give it a go?" And I did, and it went not terribly. I did some silly puns at first, but then after a few gigs, I started to do jokes about asexuality. I thought, I'd recently come to terms with my identity. I was no one else was really talking about it, so I thought I'd do a few puns about it, and I got such a good response. I kind of thought, I think this is the thing I kind of just do now. Now the rest is history.
That's amazing. Do you have a moment from, let's say Dr. Bonks that you're really excited to see an audience react to, or that you enjoy doing in front of an audience? Are there moments that you enjoy from that?
Oh, it's all very. I don't know how to describe it without spoiling it all, but it's very chaotic and very silly because Dr. Bonk is a silent character, but he has a disembodied voice of a dead BBC children's presenter that kind of narrates and guides him through things. And he does kind of medical diagnoses and examinations on the audience. And so there's a bit where I will be performing an ear syringing on an audience member. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see the reaction to that. It's all very silly, lots of big dark, silly props and puns and organs and limbs, and it's both silly and goofy, but also a little bit disturbing.
It sounds very much both things. I have a question from you for my previous guest.
Oh, yes.
This is Joyful Raven of the show Breed or Bust, which is a great show, and she wants to know, what are you going to do to take care of yourself while you're in this theater storm?
Oh, I'm not sure to answer that. I'm not sure I can take care of myself. People forget, we in Britain, we thrive on being miserable, so our self-deprecation comes across better in our comedy. We can't take care of ourselves. We'll run out of material then. You can't ask us to do that. If I take care of myself, I'll be happy, and then there'll be nothing then. There'll be nothing to draw from for laughs. But I guess if you're forcing me to answer that, I would probably will say make daily visits to Pie Maker and get a cheap £1 mac and cheese pie, because that is the only thing keeping me going in this hellfire of an economy.
We love to see it. Do you have a question for my next guest, Eliott?
Oh yes, I would love to know what is their favorite pasta shape.
I love that question. What is your favorite pasta shape?
Oh, I would probably say farfalla, the little bow ties. I mean, the cutest. I think it's a good way of getting the gist of what someone's like. Because if someone responds with lasagna sheets, they're a sociopath. It's a good way of just working people out.
That's a good point. Yeah, there's may not be a right answer, but there's definitely some wrong ones.
Definitely wrong one. Exactly. That's the beauty of it.
Amazing. Hey, Eliott, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited about all of your shows. I hope a bunch of people go see them. They're educational, they're entertaining. You're an absolute delight. So I hope that people have a wonderful time. And happy Fringe, my friend.
Oh, happy Fringe to you too, Laser.
All right. Bye.
Oh, am I meant to leave the studio? Oh, I don't know. Oh, I think I'm meant to leave. Do I leave? Do I leave? I don't know. Oh no. Did I press the wrong button? Ow, 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 ow. I'll leave.